Straight Up On Game, where we bring you highlights. Well, not highlights, but comments and guests from JUCO. Tonight we got arena football players. We got, but let me bring on the host of the show, D. Wright, the running back guru.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy D. Wright. We are on episode 29. But before we get started, we're going to bring on our other co-host, no other than Mr. Bryan Welch.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday night. Happy March Madness, everybody. First round of tournament. But before we get going, hey, Colorado has Coach Prime. We have Coach Billy. Coach Billy Battle joining us on Straight Up On Game.
What's going on, everybody, on this thriving Thursday, baby?
Oh, yeah.
Coach, hey, happy Thursday, everybody watching. Hopefully your brackets are staying intact. My bracket is not intact. It's a dumpster fire right now. So I hope everyone's doing well right now.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, man, it won't San Diego State, that's just my team. Like, when it comes to, Final Fours and just basketball, ball, I'm a San Diegan, man. I got to love my Aztecs, but I don't even know right now. I'm just lost of what's going on, but I'm sure it's going to be some showtime. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but we got some professionals on the line, and we want to bring in our very first guest. This gentleman I knew pretty much all my life. He knew me pretty much all our lives. We grew up on the same block. We call it Treasure Block. So it was one part of my block called Buccaneer. The other side of the street was called Peter Pan. And everybody, I kid you not, fans and folks watching, everybody on our street, mostly like 95% of everyone is like professionals, like movie star, a professor, football player, NFL, whatever. And I want to bring this gentleman on. His name is Ronald Preston Clark. What's up, Ron?
Yeah, what's good, D. Right? Long time no see.
I know, long time no see, brother, but we see you doing great things out there in the community of San Diego. I gave everyone a quick little introduction of what you do. Just let everyone know, all the viewers, of who you are. Who's Ronald?
Well, first and foremost, good evening to everyone. Again, my name is Ronald Preston Clark. I'm an educator and writer in San Diego. I currently am the CEO of my own nonprofit called Empowering Mentorships, where our flagship program is Club FBS, which stands for Fidgets, Books, and Sneakers. And it's a book club and mentorship program for 6th through 12th grade Black male students in San Diego County. We have about 90 boys total in the program right now. We're in 5 middle schools, including Horace Mann, Bale Junior High, Millennial Tech, KIP, and Logan Memorial. And so we're in those 5 middle schools, and then we run our high school program at the University of San Diego. I do that. I'm also the lead faculty for the Black and Genius Initiative at the University of San Diego, where we work currently with 6th and 7th graders, but we stay with them from 6th through 12th grade. It's college readiness, social emotional learning, STEM, all these varying elements to the program. But what's amazing about it is that the students who stay with us throughout the program, if they get into the University of San Diego as seniors in high school, they have their tuition taken care of. And so that program is beautiful and a blessing. And then I'm also I also work with Project Ready with the Urban League and their youth. And so on the education side, that's what I do. And then I'm also a published author. I came out with my first novel in 2018. And currently right now we're getting ready to drop book number 2, 6.5 years later. So it's pretty much me in a nutshell. I could run down the resume for 30 minutes, but I'll give you just that.
I love it. I love it because, just seeing your journey and just knowing who you are and just seeing all the great things you do, not just in San Diego, we're just talking about all over, and helping just the youth. That's just, I don't even know how to thank you, because, growing up, there were a lot of different people that were helping, but you're actually doing the work. Like, is it hard doing what you do and creating relationships with people outside of the students? Because I know sometimes it can get a little tough in education.
Yeah, mainly due to the fact that I'm in the education system because I can't stand it. But the only way to dismantle it is from the inside and to start it over. And so I consider myself to be an abolitionist educator, consider myself to be a rebel within education spaces because we've been teaching our kids the same way for 100 years, and we have no proof that we've been doing it correctly. And so I'm really big on making sure that our students are getting culturally relevant material. The reason why I started my book club and my mentorship program is because 30% of Black male students in the state of California were reading at grade level. And I have been reading since I was real young. And part of it was I read good books. And so I just realized that our Black boys weren't being handed literature that they saw themselves in. They weren't being handed opportunities to read actually, stuff that would make them want to be readers. And so I started the program, and every book I hand the kids, I tell them ahead of time, I'm not going to hand you a whack book because too many of the books that are in the quote unquote literary canon are written by old white men, and none of us have any connection to them. So it's like we don't have to read Grapes of Wrath and Scarlet Letter and a bunch of books that nobody has any emotional connection to anymore, when the whole purpose is to teach them comprehension. So it doesn't matter what you give them as long as the comprehension is available to them. And so as you know, D. Wright, we had Mr. Ajeen Shaheed when we were at Fulton, who was taking the Black boys out of class for an hour and teaching us the real. And due to him, who I still keep in contact with, he's been my mentor now for 30, I was 5, 33 years now. So because of him, I wanted to turn around and do something similar, where I'm continuing the work that he started with us, with him, Dr. Kasimu Harley, Dr. Leonard Thompson, who they just all wrapped their arms around us as youngsters. And so I felt like I needed to do the same. I had to leave San Diego for a second. I went to college in Virginia, lived in New Jersey for 3 years, came back to San Diego for 8 years. But then my big move was I went to Chicago for 3 years, and I taught at an all Black male high school on the South Side. So,
wow.
So I'll tell you this now. I ain't scared because if I can go into that space, and my boys, like, they taught me everything I needed to know about being an educator, because the amount of trauma that they brought into the school due to what was going on outside of the school, and they were still showing up every day. Who am I to not show up for them if they can go through what they were going through on the outside and still pull up every day? I had one student who his best friend was shot and killed in his arms one day, and he's at school the next. Like, their resilience was on a whole nother level. And so now that I'm doing what I'm doing now, I can go into any space and be able to talk to any kid because of my background. And so I'm just grateful and blessed and thankful that I get the opportunity to work with other people's children. I don't have children of my own, so I treat my kids like, from that parental perspective. I should put a bunch of them on my taxes as dependents, but I love what I do. And one of the biggest things about life is finding the thing that you would do for free and then get paid for it. And so this is the type of work I would do anyway, and I just so happen to create a career out of it. So,
well, I'm gonna tell you, from everyone here on the show, we're honored for you to be on, straight up on game, because that's what we're about. We're about inspiring the youth and also adults, but it's nothing like telling the youth that you can do it. I know it sounds cliche, but we all have different responsibilities, and I feel we all have different ways of letting the youth know that you can literally do anything. Like, you really can. If you sit down and concentrate for a year, maybe 2, you can create whatever you want to create. And I feel that this platform that you have created is going to give not only those young men and women an opportunity, but also their kids. because now, like Mr. Shaheed, you mentioned him, he was a great mentor. And I mention to people all the time how we grew up in San Diego. We had that gentleman pull us out for an hour or two. And all he did is just gave us flat out history, taught us how to really express ourselves. We were 5, 6, 7 years old, 8, 9, 10 years old.
Yep.
And that's why we are how we are now. So thank you for what you're doing, because not a lot of people is going to step up to the plate and be honest with themselves and allow themselves to actually say, like, you know what, I grew up like this. So I'm going to give you something I grew up, but I'm going to make it better. And that's exactly what you're doing. So we appreciate you.
I pretty much left Fulton Elementary as a Black Panther because
right.
Because the thing is he armed us.
Yes, he did.
And what I mean by that is I remember every year they would give us a $25 gift certificate to an African American bookstore that used to be in Lemon Grove.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I found out all my inventors, all my scientists, all my explorers, all the Lewis Latimers of the world, the Garrett A. Morgans, the Alexander Hensons, all these Daniel Hale Williams, all these Black men who were stellar in their fields, Charles Richard Drew. And what's crazy is I just reeled off those names. I remember them specifically from that time period.
Yes.
It's something that I read last week. It was something that was given to me in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And when I was younger, anything Black stuck.
Yes.
Like, if you told me a Black fact, I remembered it forever because they were so few and far between. Like I've always said that, I went to Morris High School, and I went to high school with 1,400 Filipinos, 700 Mexicans, and 500 Blacks.
Mm-hmm.
With like a sprinkle of white kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I know no Asian American history. I know no Latin American history, and I know the Black history because I sought it. But I can tell you a whole bunch of stuff about some white folks, and I'm like, we're still giving a Eurocentric education at a school that don't have any European on the campus, and that always frustrated me. And so I'm Black. I don't know what the language is on this channel, but I'm extra Black no matter where I go. So I was teaching at a school. I was teaching American Lit, and we're doing James Baldwin in September. And I actually had one of the admin walk in and literally tell me that my class was too Black. And I said, oh, okay. Now, one thing you find out about me real quick, I don't work for adults. I work for the kids. Like, I'm hired by the children. And so if they're getting something from me, then I'll fight adults for the kids. So I came to the kids the next day. I was like, yo, y'all feel like we're doing too much, African-American lit in here? Because it was an 88% Latino, 12% Black campus. And they're like, nah, Mr. Clark, we're really enjoying our assignments and stuff. I was like, I bet. I went back to that admin. I said, I'm not changing my class. My kids are learning. So,
well, like I was mentioning, man, brother, I can't even thank you so much, and how proud I am of you. And it's good to bring community people from all over, walks of life. I mean, we got African-American gentlemen who speak up for our culture. We got Latinos. We got all races. And I feel we always talked about our heritage. I know I mentioned it to you, Ronald, a little bit. We're called the Heritage Bowl. We're called, everything that I do is called heritage because I feel it's very important that we all know where we come from. This show is designed on all, you see, we all look different, but we're the same. So, I just want to make sure everybody understand that it's more than just sports. You add a whole different mix to our show today. We got a big time show. But we do know that you have a book. We want to show a video before, our other co-hosts ask you some questions. I don't want to hog it up because, you're my fam, but we want to show this video to everybody, and then we're going to ask you about it.
Sounds good.
Reverse it now. Reverse it now. Here's the left one to show myself. Reverse it now. If this is a saying, I'm out with you. sword the fear. Reverse it out outside the Jewish chief, you feel like an astro. Never seen it, my mama didn't say. Reverse it out, if you miss it, I say, I'm out with even fame, say, you sword the fear. Reverse it out outside the Jewish chief, you feel like an astro. Never seen it, my mama didn't say. Reverse it out, if for a way, it's no hundred when you want it, surf you, yes, I will, yes. Reverse it out, if let's say the obsession shit that I've been scared of, I wish the fact of an. Reverse it out, if I look out for the master for the reverse you do your winners. I'm just like the boy reverse it. You know, I say he was near so that you around me you know say no no he's a man on the games again is it I don't know why he's a me for the he's a me shit don't you know if he me I would team of he's the he's a him but not the thing that he will home he's in the team what he has to it again needs the rest reverse it. Reverse it now. Reverse it now. Look out for the master. Reverse it now. Reverse it now. Reverse it now.
I think Dwayne's muted.
All right. It looks like you got a book coming out. I understood that whole movement. I know we were all like, I understood that whole mentally, that whole movement on that video right there. I was excited.
Yeah, it's 6.5 years after my first one. And I had been starting and stopping books, throughout that time frame, and basically came to the realization. I was like, you know what? Let me write shorter versions of each of my ideas, and then see what the audience likes the most, and then I'll turn that one into the full length. And so this book is 2 novellas in one book. So it's 2 80 to 90 page stories.
Oh, wow.
Have nothing to do with each other. But it's called Black Bliss Volume 1. The first story in it is a pseudo sequel to the first book. And then the second one is, so I have an infatuation with this concept of how in literature and film, there's a lot of white male sociopathic characters that were taught to still like cheer on, like still like. So for example, Dexter, Joe on You, right? They're doing deplorable things, but we're still rooting for them, right? And I've always been just fascinated with that concept of like what allows for us to still root for people who are doing deplorable things, right? And so I was like, you want to know what? Let me create a black male sociopath and see if I can still pull off the same task. And so in the second story in the book, it's about a black male who's leaving a toxic relationship and basically the madness that follows. And so it's coming out on April 28th. Did y'all recognize the song, even though it was sounded the way it sounded?
Of course.
What song is it?
It was
That's Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar.
I bet.
So I know that.
So the reason why I asked is because we really wanted to use Man at the Garden, but of course on social media with licensed material, it can get flagged. And so when we did our stuff 6.5 years ago, we did something similar. And so I basically went to my videographer and my book manager and just was like, let's put it in, let's see what it sounds like backwards. And so we put Man in the Garden in reverse, and then he actually sounds like he's saying reverse it now.
Reverse it now, yeah.
And so like it literally turned out to be exactly what we wanted to do. And so there's 3 videos that are going to be coming out as our promo, and it's basically showing like this first one is me finishing the new book, right? It's showing me all the different nights that I'm up, late at night, typing and doing everything I'm doing. The next one is basically me saying goodbye to the first book. And then the third one is basically the climax, where it's like the madness I had to get to in order to write the third book. And so Vinny is a 14-year-old boy. And so with me being an educator and community leader and such, I'm usually attached to stuff I can still do with kids. this is the first book I'm writing as a grown man. Like my 38-year-old self, how I feel, how I think in this new one. And it's fascinating because like I've always steered clear of cursing. I've always steered clear of, sexual references or anything like that. Oh, this new book, that's not the case.
Well, I'm gonna go cop that new book.
Yeah, I'm in my bag with this one, and I'm already naturally like not a vulgar person.
Right.
So when I speak in vulgar terms, I'm creative with how I say it, and so it was just really fun, like playing off of words and playing off of sentences and stuff. So I'm really excited about this new one. It's been almost 7 years now, and so I'm looking forward to hearing what people have to say. The few people that I've let read a little bit of what I've done, like they already feel like I got something. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for it to drop.
Hey, Ronald, Bryan Welch here. Hey, you talked about this being your first book in over 6 years. I know you brought it up a little bit ago about your writing style, about using curse words and all that. Do you notice anything else different in your writing style?
Great question. And absolutely. To me, as writing is one of the few things where you actually get better as you get older. As with sports, it's the opposite, right? It's a very different space, right? But it's funny because you know how, and I'll use sports terminology since we're in a sports space, right?
Of course.
And D Wright knows I'm a basketball guru, like this is what I do. And so I've always been fascinated with quote unquote your prime years, right? With basketball, it's supposed to be 27 to 32, right? When you're younger than 27, it's mostly athleticism. When you're older than 32, it's mostly your mind. And then 27 to 32, those two come together. This book, I'm having my 2016 Steph Curry year.
That was a good year. That was a good year for Steph.
Now, I'm talking about the regular season because, of course, we know he didn't get the chip because
he didn't get the shit
because Bron is a machine. But I legit was like shocking myself with my current ability level. And the funny thing about creatives is that even when we write something and it's good in the moment, we almost always years later look back at it and go, oh, these are all the things I would do differently. And so right now I have a control of the language I've never had. I have a fearlessness I've never had. And my degrees in journalism, I've done screenwriting, I've done spoken word, I've done poetry. So like I've touched all these different elements of writing and it all kind of coalesces with prose. And so, I mean, I was in a poetry slam one time and literally read 2.5 pages of my first book in one of the rounds because I didn't have any more poems memorized. And so it was like, it almost beat somebody with 2.5, because I just changed my speech pattern and read 2.5 pages. And they were like, did you just do that? I said, absolutely. Because my writing style, basically I call it spoken word prose, where it's basically like it has a rhythm to it. Like you can actually like bop your head while you're reading almost. And so I'm just excited. It took me a long time to find, because it was 6.5 years where I was attached to this kid's voice, because I write in first person. I couldn't find the new voice. And literally one night I read the first page. My favorite thing in all my apartments is my bookcase. My bookcase is beautiful. And I literally took 5 books off the shelf, read the first page of all 5, just to kind of see how these writers were getting into their stories. I read the 5th one, boom. Story was
found it.
The voice hit me. I wrote like 3,500 words that night, and then I've been rocking and rolling ever since. So I'm real meticulous. And I don't, because the thing is with writing is that once I release it, like I have no more control over it. So all 4 of you, if the 4 of you were to read the book, you're going to all experience it differently because you're all coming in with something different. Right. And so I can't control what connects with you, what doesn't connect. I can't do any of that. All I can do is write at the best level I can. And one thing I love is when somebody comes to me and tells me something about my writing that I didn't know I did. Like, they're like, oh man, I love how you did, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I did? That's what's up. Like, I didn't know. But because of their found knowledge and their past experiences coming into the reading process, they saw something that I didn't see because I haven't experienced what they've experienced. And that's what's so beautiful about writing is that like it truly can connect people together without even trying. And so I'm just grateful for this opportunity to bring some words back into the writing sphere, and we'll see how people react.
Well, that's good to hear. Where can people find your book when it's released?
So rprestonclark.com is my website. I'm gonna give y'all a little entrepreneurial nugget. So for always ask creatives where's the best place to get their stuff, because all of our reflexes have been Amazon, right? Because it's so quick. But what folks don't realize is, like, my first book came out to 22 after taxes and shipping and handling and all that stuff. I got $7.97 per book off of Amazon.
Oh.
And yeah, like they take a 60% cut, bro. So like I don't even count my Amazon sales. And so, but sending them to my website where the copy
straight
is
to the point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I signed it, and it's the same exact price, but my cut is doubled. Mm-hmm. And so if you're truly trying to support the creative, you're truly trying to support the artist, then you would go to the website. So rprestonclark.com. The pre-orders have already started. We launched the pre-orders on Sunday. Each of the major dates in this process are attached to somebody close to me's birthday. So on Sunday, my Uncle Joe's birthday was on Sunday, so we did the pre-orders for that day. April 28th is one of my best friends, Christina, from college. Her birthday is like April 28th, so that's when the book drops. And then the second book, the second volume, Black Bliss Volume 2, is coming out on my birthday, which is September 11th, which is also the 7-year anniversary of my first book.
That's tight.
Yeah. So
yeah, I like that.
That's where we at.
Well,
hey, when you gonna drop this movie on this?
You want to know what's funny about that, Harv, is that I got real close with screenwriting. Like Regina King has read my stuff, Ava DuVernay's read my stuff, Michael B. Jordan's read my stuff, Isaiah Washington, Journey Smollett, Melinda Williams. Like I got close. And but the industry is fickle. So until money starts getting exchanged, it is what it is, right? So I actually moved back to California in 2011 to pursue screenwriting. But I needed a job, landed in education, and then basically I've been doing education. But my dream has always been to get my words on screen. And my favorite TV shows lately, Lovecraft Country, You, Behind Her Eyes, were all books. And so it used to be either a movie or a TV show. Now, a movie, since it's only 2 hours, you're not going to get everything from the book. But then a TV show can go too long and you might get Game of Thrones, where the last season is a hot mess because there's no more of the material, of the original material. So I like limited series where you have that 7 to 10 episode arc where you can go deeper than just a movie, but it doesn't have to go as long as an actual TV show.
Well, don't have D Harv work on your staff, because your movie may end up somewhere else if D Harv is on your staff.
That's the dream right there, to eventually get that story by credit. I just want to be sitting in the audience and look on that screen and it says story by. And I know that's gonna be an emotional moment for me because I've been writing since I was a real little. I'm a big reader. My favorite writer of all time is James Baldwin. I feel like he's the greatest writer to ever live. And Toni Morrison is the greatest woman writer to ever live. And so I used to be an ice cream truck of books. Like I'll be somewhere, have a whole bunch of books in my trunk. I'll see a kid, talk to their parent first, drop the kid a book and dip out. Like
love that. I love it.
I put books in kids' hands, bro, because there's so much power in literature. There's a reason why they were killing our ancestors for learning how to read. They knew where the power was. It was inside them books. And unless our kids are getting away from these, electronics, which the irony is that they're reading all day. They're just reading terrible stuff because I had essays getting turned in class with LOL in it. And so I put LOL next to their grade. And I'm like,
you have a key, LOL.
But yeah, it's just, it always comes back to words. It always comes back to reading, always comes back to writing. And I tell kids all the time, If you know how to communicate, you can get a job in any industry. You got cats running Fortune 500 companies who had to hire somebody to write their own emails because their writing is so bad. Like, if you can communicate, you always will have a job. And so I just try to get my kids to be able to do that at the highest level possible, you know.
That is well spoken, my friend. Hey, good luck with the book. And
Yes.
hopefully we get you back on the show. And hey, have fun up at San Diego. I know USD is a beautiful campus as well.
Yes, literally was voted the most beautiful campus in the country. So I'm blessed.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, greatness, great stuff. Hey, Ronald, thank you so much for coming on. We have Straight Up On Game coming up right after this. Hey, we got arena football to talk about right after this.
Have a blessed one.
All right, fella. Look, Billy sleep. Billy, wake up, man. Are you asleep? Y'all segment ain't started yet, man. You gotta wake up.
Billy wake up.
I'm
There
up.
he is.
I heard everything Preston was talking about.
Preston is like a genius. He's been like that since we were like kids. It's so crazy. He's everything that he's talking about. He's been that and more. But very inspirational to the community. And you can't have sports. You can't have certain things without being literate. Like, you have to read plays. You have to read contracts. You got to be able to comprehend, right? So we're going to move forward a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about who we have next.
Hey, we're talking arena football, right?
Arena football?
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
That's right. Especially, hey, big time stuff we were talking about with him before the show, and especially as take a look at it. Hey, former Klinga College Falcon waiting in the wings, so to speak. No pun intended. The former Falcon waiting in the wings right now. As hey, you know what? It's Mr. Kris Lewis going to join us on the program right now, my friends.
Kris Lewis, welcome.
What's going on, y'all guys? Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, his voice, he came on. Hey, guys, thank you for having me. That's that football talk right there. He's about business.
Yeah, man, trying to stay professional.
I love it. I love it.
Of course. Hey, Kris, welcome to the program. Hey, we were talking about this a little bit before, but you're a guy that grew up in Alabama. How'd you get to California?
Man, the DC that we had at the time, Kyle Ellis, he had reached out to me before when he was at a NAI school in Culver Stockton, and we had talks, and I was supposed to go play for him up there, and it just so happened before I got up there, he called me and told me that he had got the DC job at West Hills Kalinga, and that's how I found my way to Cali.
And especially, hey, you got to be in Kalinga for a year, especially at Kalinga College or previously West Hills College Kalinga. But you got your degree, you got to play ball afterwards. But how did you find out about playing for arena football?
I guess, it's a blessing always to be able to still play, but I think COVID is really the way that I found arena football. There wasn't a lot of pro days. There wasn't a lot of guys coming to watch smaller school athletes, work out because of the COVID thing. And I started, just posting my highlights in different places, YouTube, Twitter, things like that. And some of the guys that were in the American Western Football Conference came and found me.
And when you watch arena football, you're playing indoors. It's very confined. How would you describe arena football?
Action-packed, fun, fast, hard hits. It's definitely exciting.
And especially, this is a spring sport. You usually see this happening in the spring. But there's also another football league going on right now, especially with the UFL, with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson running that, the XFL and the USFL all together. But does that kind of set up a little bit of a rivalry between the arena boys and the UFL boys?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a rivalry. I think the goal for all the arena guys is to move up to play to that level. So I don't think we take it more so as a rivalry. I think we look at it as an opportunity.
And of course, I mean, Dwayne, you've experienced arena football. You've experienced that. What do you think is going through Kris's mind right now, especially when the season's about to start?
Well, I've never played arena, but
you coached it, right?
I coached a little bit of it at a point. But I also was his coach. I was also his coach at West Hills College. Had a chance to see him develop and to an awesome young man. And when Kris came to West Hills College, he already had that drive. So the drive that he has, and I've seen him work, we're getting a lot of feedback. I'm sorry, fans. I know you're trying to, I don't know whose phone that is, but right. All right. Can you hear me now? Yes. All right. So when he first came to West Hills College, and I'm going to be brief because I can see Dwight right now, Mr. Harv, and I can see Billy want to ask some questions. Hey, fans, Billy's still asleep. We got to wake him up. But anyway, when Kris came in, he was already ahead of the game. Like his skill level was ahead of the game. Sometimes, you have to take certain routes to get certain places, like he said. But look, he's an arena ball. There's nothing better than having a receiver / athlete / quarterback come out arena ball, and you can play anywhere. That's the blessing. That's literally the blessing that he has. I want to know, Kris, what's the level of arena? Like, what's the difference between the speed and like how you just like the makeup of the game? Is it faster? Is it slower? Is it even playing field? How does that work?
I would say it's a lot faster. Everything. The thing now, looking back at it, this being my 4th year, I think the thing that I tell the new guys that are coming in that are fresh out of football, like outside ball, I tell them everything that you would normally do in an outside football game, you got to cut it down by 2 seconds. There's 3 linemen. You got a free rusher if you don't have a running back in there blocking. So everything that you do has to be a lot faster. The timing of the plays faster. You have to be in and out of your routes faster. There's not a lot of time to set things up. You have to be able to move and adjust on the fly.
Yeah, that's a small field, like 50 yards, indoor war, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir. It's 50 yards.
That means it's some big grown men out there. So y'all got to take baby steps. So That's why it's so much quicker. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
Well, if I were the UFL, the USFL, the NFL, and I was to represent them right now, and I said, Kris Lewis, tell us everything about you that we will want to sign you to our team right now, what would you say?
I think, the reasons why people would want to sign me are I'm a hard worker. I'm a leader. I'm going to come in every day and I'm going to lead the guys in the right way and show the guys not only, telling what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, but also showing. I think that's a big thing in professional football is you have these leaders, and sometimes the leaders don't want to show how to do the things. They just want to tell. And I think one of my biggest, things that helps me out is that I'm one of those guys that's going to, like you said, put my helmet on every day. I'm going to go to work. I'm not going to take any days off. I'm going to make sure that all the young guys know what's going on. I'm going to make sure even the older guys that might have just came to this team and it's new for them, I'm going to make sure they got, everything that they need to be successful, because you're only going to be as good as your weakest link, and if our weakest link is just as good as the best guy, I think the ceilings are endless for the whole team.
I will sign you. Sign the contract right now. Give me the contract. Sign them right now. I've seen some of your highlights. I don't know if Billy or DR or Welch seen some of this young man's highlights, but this dude was jumping up, catching between people, and one-handed catches, and he was doing that in college. It's nothing new that I haven't seen, but I mean, how does that coincide with the competition that you're going against? So, you have DBs who probably in the same boat, who have the same aspirations. Do you feel the competition is least stressful or a lot more stressful when it comes to competing from your position, like just from your position?
I'm gonna be honest. I think it's a week to week thing. Sometimes you play guys that are just as good as you on the same level as you, may be better than you, and then there's other weeks where you might play a team where that might be where they're slacking at. Their DBs might not be the best group that they have, or you know what I mean. So I would say that there's definitely competition in this league because you see guys all the time getting pulled up to the CFL, or there's been a couple guys go to the UFL. A guy last year in the same league before one of the first games got called up to the Saints. So there's definitely a lot of competition in this league. It just depends on how you express yourself and how you compete against these guys.
Well, let us know when we can see your highlights.
Absolutely, I share them with D. Wright. Make sure he gets y'all all the information. We had a game this past weekend. Didn't go the way we wanted to. It was the first game of the season, but we also have a game coming up this Saturday in Washington, Everett, Washington, against the Wolfpack. So I'll make sure to send you guys the link so you guys can check it out for sure.
Let everybody know before Welch. Let everybody know who you play for and the teams that you play for.
Right now, I'm currently on the Oregon Lightning team in the AF1. My very first arena football team was also in Oregon. It was the Oregon Storm. Played a couple games there and then got called up to the IFL. I ended up playing the season in San Diego with the Strike Force. After that, I took my ties to Billings Outlaws, who actually just won the championship last year in the AFL. And then now I'm in Oregon again. So I've been a few places, got to see the world.
And you have been able to see the world. When you look at arena football in the spring, Kris, what is the response from the fans in these arenas?
Oh man, I think, not to say it in this kind of way, but I think it's a little more engaging, And the NFL, obviously, UFL, they have big stadiums, big crowds, and you get, the energy from those guys and the females as well. But in arena football, they're right there on the field. You can go over the wall and land in somebody's lap. You know what I mean? So the fan engagement in arena football is everything. They bring the energy.
And is it every team you played for in arena ball, Kris? Have you noticed anything different within all the stops you've been able to go play for?
Absolutely. I think that the biggest thing is just being professional wherever you go, because every team's going to run their organization different. Every coach is going to have a different philosophy. Every owner is going to have a different set of values and morals and principles that they bring to their organization. So I think just falling in line and finding out where you fit in those lines is the best thing for you to do as a professional.
And especially, we have seen arena football in the news last year, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the championships was played in a mall, actually, back east. But what is that one thing that arena football can do to be elevated, to be talked about with the other sports that are going on right now in the spring, especially with baseball?
I think just the exposure. I think the more that people get it out, the more that people see it, the more that people, get around it, they'll be more in tune to it. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it, these fans, sometimes crowds get packed because they're curious, and it's not more so they're fans until they come see it. They're curious, and then they see how fast it is. They see guys getting put over the wall. They see the dancing and the cheerleaders and how close everybody is in the engagement. And I think that's what picks up I guess you could say the expansion of the league.
Of course, Derek. Shout out to Derek Miller with that comment on our YouTube channel. If you're watching the show right now, comment on the show, especially like what Derek just said. Derek Miller said we need arena football back in Fresno, California. You know what? It was the Central Valley Coyotes, I believe, that played at Selland Arena way back in the day. But hey, is there any rumors, any speculation of any more expansion teams in arena football, Kris, or no?
Yeah, from what I've heard, there's supposed to be a team in Arizona. There's going to be a team in Stockton, California. They're trying to grow it, you know what I mean? They're trying to expand more. And I think more so, obviously, you want to have a good, product and good organization and put out good content. But I think more so it's about for the guys, the kids, there's no more opportunities for guys to go play ball and, keep continuing to do what you love.
Of course, hey, Coach Billy. Go ahead, D. Harv.
I said we missed it here in Florida. We had the Orlando Predators and the Tampa Bay Storm.
Predators, come on, man.
They both won championships, so yeah, we missed it. It was love, and the fans just went crazy about it. And I'm one of them.
Well, we for sure appreciate you.
We had an inside joke, but we're gonna keep that inside joke. Chris Lewis, who do you like in the NFL? Like, what's your favorite team?
Ah, man, y'all might not like me for this, but I'm a Bengals guy, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never, man. We're gonna get you off of this show right now. I'm just messing around. Just messing around. I thought Dallas Cowboys was worse, but you said the Bengals.
Yeah, man.
You're a diehard Bengals fan, huh?
You can say that. I mean, being from Alabama, we don't really have a team. So I think just growing up, Chad Ochocinco is one of my favorite players. I just, I gravitated towards him, Steve Smith. So I would say I'm not more of like a diehard, but I'm a player person.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm a player person also.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
If you watch another episode, just know D Harv is a Dallas Cowboy fan, so that's why he watch a lot of arena football and he supports you. So he's gonna be your biggest fan other than me because he ain't got nothing to look forward to about Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
Super Bowl champs 2026.
Man. Wait, 2021?
I wonder, right?
Man, we all gonna be with the Lord by the time they go to this Dallas. Gonna be playing football, flying. Hey, Kris, we thank you for coming on our show, brother. We're gonna welcome you back to our show just to update, get some updates from you. And where can our folks find you? Like IG, whatever you got. Where can they find you?
My Instagram is I am Kris Lewis, IamKrisLewis, and then everything else, Facebook, Twitter is just Kris Lewis.
Awesome, brother. We're your number one fan, so I'm your number one fan. One of them. But we'll be following you, man, and we'll get you with our media team too, man. If you need some exposure and stuff like that, hit us up, and we'll make sure we'll help you out along the way.
Absolutely. I appreciate y'all guys having me on the show, man.
All right, have a good one.
All right.
We'll be back after this commercial, folks, and we're going to talk about that Bulldog life. We got some Bulldog exclusive coming next. This is a segment where, Billy and then also D Harv is like, they get a little lost because, Billy's probably a San Diego State fan, and, D Harv probably supports another university. He said, no. So, in Fresno State, we known for beating down Giants. That's what we known for. But that segment is coming after this commercial. We'll be right back.
There's too many guys here that should have been recruited and weren't. I want every one of you to get a chance to go to college and get a chance to play the great game of college football. We'll have 50-plus colleges from all over the country that want to get good football players, and that's where you come in.
They're coming out and they're looking for talent. Today is about showing up and showing out. Today is about opportunity for you guys. Use that second chance to your best of your ability.
This is your chance to sell yourself so you never look back and say, I never had a shot.
We really look for who wants to compete, who's going with high effort, who's competitive.
The opportunity was there, so, took full advantage of it, and we're so grateful that we got to come out here and compete.
1 in 3 of you will get a scholarship, and that scholarship could very well change your life. You're showing these coaches you mean business. Go in, sell yourself, tell them why they should sign you to go play football at their fine university.
I know what time it is. That was the California Showcase right there. We have a lot of our athletes that we deal with directly, played, and actually was in that California Showcase a couple weeks back. And we are going to bring in our Bulldog exclusive. And no other than Justin. What's up, Justin?
What's up, guys? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you loud.
Oh, we can hear you just fine.
Yes.
All right. How you guys doing?
We are doing well. We're doing well.
We're good, man.
We want to hear some of the good news. We're not going to put it out just yet, but since you are on, we want to talk about what's going on. I know Bryan Welch has some of the exclusive, one-on-one type deals that's going on right now in Bulldog land. But we want to have a little powwow before we get to some of the great news that you have for our Bulldog fans. What's going on in Bulldog land, Bryan?
Well, spring practice keeps moving on for Fresno State. The spring showcase on April 5th at Valley Children's Stadium. And this team's looking pretty good. This is going to be very fun to watch to see who will be getting most of the snaps at quarterback on April 5th. And this is going to be a very fun spring showcase on April 5th. Plus, it's baseball going on as well. It's going to be a busy day on the corner of Cedar and Barstow. But, hey, spring ball keeps moving on. Matt Entz is trying to find who his guys are going to be for the fall. And it's going to be interesting to see, especially this being a run-attack offense. Bryson Donaldson's is looking pretty happy, especially in a lot of those interviews all week long.
Well, I'll tell you this. I've been watching some highlights and different things, from afar. I'm just excited about everything. Like, again, I keep bringing up, the Skip situation. That's my dog. That's my coach. That's my mentor. I'm riding with him 100%. But now I'm excited, too, about the young pups, the dogs, coming in. Excuse me. And Mike Entz, I've seen some pictures of him, I think, with Derek and David today, Carr, talking. And I've seen some Baxter sightings with a couple players, walking around the field. And you can tell that the anticipation is really just getting to the peak of what's going on with Bulldog football and all the other sports on campus. But there's nothing like Bulldog football. It brings the most money. It brings the most fans. It exposes our valley to all of the great things that we're about in the Valley, Central Valley. I think the culture right now is going in the right direction, especially within Fresno. When it comes to Bulldog football, I think the trust is still kind of floating around until after we get into, the summer ball. But there's some great coaches there. You can see all of the coaches' backgrounds that I believe was Bulldog.com or something. I was watching of all of the coaches that are now coaching at Fresno State, of how many NFL guys that they have mentored and coached. That's huge.
And the best hire, I would say, on the staff is Coach Freentz, the tight end coach, a guy that's coming from Iowa, guy who has the pedigree of good tight ends, guy who produced George Kittle. You know that guy from the 49ers. That who that guy is. If Fresno State, I brought this up last week. The Bulldogs have not had a good tight end in a couple of years. If we can utilize the tight end this season, this team can be unstoppable. How many teams do we see in college football these days utilize a tight end in their offense? If Fresno State can be a team that can be an outlier with a tight end, that team can be scary when it comes to August through December and possibly a berth in the college football playoff.
Yeah, I agree. I feel it's funny that I can see Coach Billy from the producer from the green room. We were talking about tight ends and Kittle. I know he was shaking his head as a Raiders fan, like, man, that boy is bad. But, there's always been great. And I want to correct that for even all the fans who've been Bulldog fans and people who are just now, catching the trend. Fresno State has always had great tight ends. This is not nothing new. We've had Bear Pascal. I mean, we had so many great tight ends that came through here. Steven Spock. I can go on and on and on. We've always been that pro style. I said this last week in our show. We've always been that pro style type offense team, right? We always had that 6'6", 6'5" quarterback. We've always had those speedsters out on the end. So whatever you're seeing now is what we've always had. It's just now you're paying attention because we have new coaching staff, right? We're making new moves from the fan point of view. We're making new moves from the AD's office. We're making different moves on how to get alumni back. I mean, there's so many things that's going on. Big shout out to Mike Stovall too for doing some great things and trying to bring back, the legacies and traditions as well. But we want to hear from Justin, man. What do you feel about all this stuff that we're talking about right now?
I think within the facility, there's some real buzz from people who matter about Coach Entz. So, I mean, I think it's complete buy-in. I think, we kind of got past, the initial, hurt of not having our guy, the permanent head coach and whatnot. But inside those walls, with people who have been here a long, long time, I've heard some really, really encouraging things when it comes to Coach. I can share a little bit. One coach that we talked to, because thanks to Mike Stovall, we got a chance to tour the facilities. One coach said, "We're gonna win," and that's his quote. "We're gonna win." And that same coach said, "We basically have Pat Hill over in that office over there." So the level of confidence with Entz is very high. And honestly, when we got a chance to go in there, I left a lot more confident with the direction of the program. Always optimistic, but now I would say confident.
And confidence is key. And a lot of questions will be answered on April 5th, especially concerning the quarterback position. Joshua Wood, Jaden Mandel, and also EJ Warner. That's going to be a big question to see who will take the majority of those snaps. And Joshua Wood kind of reminds me of a quarterback that used to play for NDSU way back in the day. Trey Lance, heard of him? Great quarterback in his college career, kind of bounced around the NFL. A very good mobile quarterback. We'll see if Joshua Wood will take those snaps. But on the defensive side, who's going to step up there? Corey Foreman. Will he make a big difference? And also the wide receiving room. Can Josiah Freeman take control? That have some good leadership in that wide receiving room, because he's been a supporting character in this last year, especially if he can step up as a leader this year. Josiah Freeman can be a good person to watch out for, especially as a team captain and also somebody this team can rely on when the going gets tough late in the season.
Well, I think we forget about the big boys. I think the O-line, it will be well experienced. There may be some holes here and there, but I think that's where it all starts. From we talk about our skill guys, but at the same time, we have to be strong up front from an offensive line point of view, and then also on the defensive side of the ball, our interiors. Like our interior guys. We're talking about our threes, our twos, our nos, right, our zero. If we run that, depending on what defense we run, but I think that's key to see them battle. I cannot wait to get to a practice to see what the big boys are actually doing, because if you ain't fighting during spring ball, I won't say spring ball, but if there's no team type fight during, training camp, I don't know. I don't know if you're out there for the right reasons, but that's when your big boys is going to start rolling throughout the year. So that's something that I look forward to. Again, we can talk skill all we want to, but there will be no Fresno State season without those big boys. I know we have some JUCO transfers come in. I don't know the name, but I'm going to do some research, but I know that brother is pretty good.
Hey, watch out for Roland Fullwood. Roland Fullwood on the offensive line. He's going to have a lot of fun. Watch out for him in the fall. Just gonna say
we're going to get him on the show. We're going to get him on the show.
Well, actually, he's my classmate. Actually,
man, tell him D. Wright said get on the show, man. Get on the show. We love the big boys. Get on the show and stop wasting time, man. Nah, but I think that would be great to start showing some love to our big boys. But we want to show some love to Justin and his crew, and we're gonna solo out the screen so he can give us some information exclusively. First heard on our show about what's going on with the new projects we have at Fresno State. So, Justin, we're going to give you the floor right now. We're going to show a little video first because that's what it's about. We're not going to get a full screen, folks. I'm sorry. Justin sent me some iPhone from back 2001 type video. The video looks good, but I don't know, the screen is probably as big as us right now, but we're going to show it, and we will be right back. I hope you enjoy the video, and please leave comments. Let us know what's going on in your heads as Bulldog fans. If you're an ex-player, you know, if you don't know nothing about Fresno State, at least give us some feedback so we can move from there.
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
We just see something great. I don't know what it was. I seen a V.
Yeah. Can you guys see me all right? My video's kind of coming in and out.
We can see you. We can see you.
Okay. So this whole thing has happened really, really fast, but it felt like the longest 5.5 months ever at the same time. I definitely have to start with thanking the university for putting their trust in us. Garrett Classy and Frank Poocher. Can't wait to shake your guys' hand, and I've already told them, you know, with putting their trust in us, we don't plan at all about letting them down. I mean, so looking back at how all this happened, October 7th was the first time that I messaged Classy about our idea. So here we are about 5.5 months later, and I mean, things are moving in the right direction. So a little bit of the specifics about it. Basically, we're trying to change the environment. I think the bar, Fresno State fans, we are a passionate bunch, and we just need a reason. We just need a reason to be the best fans on the West Coast, and that's how I see it. That's how I've always seen it. You know, talking to some people who are around the program, and you know, they agree with me, is we used to be different. You know, the early 2000s, we were electric. We were electric back then, and I'm not saying it's bad now, but there's been a shift, and I really don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. But it was just different. It was just different, and we're only 20 years removed from that, you know. And then here and there, you know, I can remember the Rutgers game when Derek was here. That same year when we beat Boise by a point. There's been some good crowds, but I still think that we can take it 3 levels higher. And we don't want to move the bar just here. We want to aim for the top of the West Coast. We want to turn Bulldog Stadium into the toughest environment on the West Coast. That's the bar. That's the bar. You know, it's one of those things like shoot for the stars and land on the moon, right? If you know, that's a lofty goal. We all know that. You got Autzen Stadium, you got Husky Stadium, you know, and even some of the smaller venues. Washington State's nice. I won't give any credit to anybody in our conference because we plan on surpassing all of them. But you know, again, thank you to Classy and Poocher and everything like that. And looking back on how we got here is nice and everything. But from here until the end of time, it's all about looking through the windshield. I mean, we have to look forward. It's a never ending, it's a never ending look ahead. You know, there's always something to do. There's always steps to be made, and we can celebrate in 10 years. We can be proud in 10 years. It's not the time to be proud right now. I mean, you know, we can have our moments and celebrate our little victories, but there's so much work to do, and we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Like I said, the bar is very high, and we could never do it on our own. So our focus right now, number one focus, and it will be for a while because it's going to take some time, is getting to these students. We got to get to these students. If we don't get to these students, it's not going to go like we need it to go. So we're coming up with some good plans. We got ideas that we're going to execute. A couple of them I want to get over to the frat houses, and I want to.
I was just gonna say that. That's where you go. That's where you start.
Yeah, I want to get and Mike Stovall's kid. I guess he's over there at the frat houses. So we were texting a little bit earlier today, and that's the plan. I want to get a head count. I'm in Big Springs, Texas right now trucking, but I plan to be back on the 27th, and then for maybe like 3 or 4 days, and then make a quick trip and get back for the spring game. But we do have time for that too. The season isn't for a while, but our plan is our plan A is, and I need to talk to the university if this is possible. I know that we have a sponsorship deal with me and Ed's, and we want to buy about 80 pizzas and a bunch of 2-liters, and right before halftime, we want to have about 20 of our guys go feed the whole student section. And so not only with the opening game, Georgia Southern, we have a letter from the Green V section to the student section, and it's just trying to galvanize everybody, man. It's like, you know, the students are the backbone to every single university in this country. You're either good because of the student section, or you're bad because of the student section, and that's just the way it is. So if we can all get together for one common goal and start there, we can affect a lot of people in that stadium. But we can't do it on our own. There's no doubt about it. We're not going to sit here and pretend that we can do it on our own. So I know that we'll get to them. I have no doubt that we'll make our mark with the students, and beyond their participation, we want the student section to be a direct pipeline to the Green V section. So when you're done with your student obligations, come on over. We will take care of you. We'll make sure you got good seats, and we're gonna build this thing. So it's always, there's always something to do. We're not spending much time looking in the rearview mirror. We're looking forward, and we're gonna move, and we're gonna continue to move, because that's the only way to go about this. There's a lot to do.
Now I got a question. Now in this section, will it be you become a member, a Green V member, and will you get a green shirt with a V? Will there be a perk where, you know, you get to walk in before the other fans? Like what type of perk will these students per se or fans have?
So right now, one of the perks is we're getting discounts on our section. So section 34 is our section. We got 200 seats. So we got row 3 through 20 is the Green V section.
That's a lot of seats.
What's that?
That's a lot of seats. That's pretty good.
We want to overflow that first year.
I love it.
We want to overflow that. So typically that section is 193, and we're gonna get everybody who's with the green V section is gonna get it for $160, and that's for the whole season. And that comes with a free green V shirt. So there's been discussions with the university, and they're definitely going to take over the shirts. So if anybody's going out to the spring game and you see, we conservatively, we should have about 40 green shirts promoting at the spring game. So the shirts that you're going to see there, they are not the official shirts. The official shirts are going to come later from the university. Those guys are they're going to take that over year one. A couple things that they said is they don't have a problem promoting the idea. The only thing is that they worked their butts off to get everybody cleared out of this section, and we have a 200 seat allotment, and their fear is that if they just throw it out there to their social media that it's going to exceed that 200, and they're going to be like, what the hell do we do now, you know? So like I told Mr. Poocher, I said we plan to get to the 200 ourselves. If we can't, the university said that they'll put something on their social media to get to the 200. And then this upcoming off season, we plan on doubling, if not tripling, for the 200. So the university has their work cut out for themselves. I think to them it's kind of like a wait and see approach. You know, they're with us, but they want to dip their foot in the water. You know what I mean? They want to dip their toe and see how it goes. And we're ready. You know, we're excited. But again, we got to keep the goals in mind here. This is not something that we're just trying to have cool shirts in the stands. We're legitimately trying to affect the game, and we think we can have an effect on recruiting. We think players are going to want to play in an environment that not only us but the students. I also too want to give a shout out to the Salazar family. They're in the northeast end zone. I had a good conversation with the head of that family. We tried to connect and get together. It didn't quite work out because they've been there for so long. They want to stay there, which we completely respect and understand. It's nothing but respect with those guys, and they're 50 or 60 deep. So they're going to work on the northeast corner of the stadium, and we're going to work with the students on the southeast corner, and it's all hands on deck for the same common goal. It's not your group against our group. It's all respect. It's all respect. We're all pulling on the same rope, and I believe we can get there.
I believe you will too. I'm sure Bryan does, and I'm sure our other co-hosts, we're going to bring them in about 1 minute. But I love what you're doing. As an ex-Bulldog player, and I know Bryan is there now as a student, about to get his nice degree and hopefully a nice job on ESPN, and I can be his co-host there, and Billy can be on, and all of us, and DR. But seriously, as an ex-player, I mean, I'm just thinking of video games. Other people don't think like maybe we think, but think about college. Like you're playing college and they show the screen and you just see nothing but the green V shirts. Like that's dope. Like I think that's tight, and that will bring recruits. Because when I was younger, I knew nothing about Fresno State. Only thing I knew about Fresno State, being from San Diego and SoCal, they had a checkered end zone. That was it. Like I knew if I played college or Bill Walsh football back in the day, I'm going to play on that checker field because it was tight and I had snow on the field. Like those are the things you remember, especially the recruiting, time. You have, money, you have NIL, stuff coming, I mean, there's so many opportunities for Fresno State right now. I don't know, Brian, what do you think? Before we bring our other co-hosts on, they all fell asleep because they're not Bulldog fans, but they are in heart. They're Bulldog fans.
Well, let me just say about that video, guys. I got chills down my spine of excitement. And I really think, hey, we need a new idea. And I think having the green V, having that section there is thinking outside the box. And we need something to keep the fans engaged and also keep it new. Especially we've done the whiteout, we've done the blackout before, we've done the military appreciation night. But having for every game we've had, especially for this season, having the green V is going to make us stand out as being a unique school. And you hit the nail right in the head, Dwayne. Recruits are going to go to a place that's unique. Hey, look at Mississippi State. They have the cowbell.
They have the cowbell. More cowbell.
We're not going to steal the cowbell, but hey, we get green shirts.
If we play them, we will.
Of course. But you get the point. Hey, the green shirts are going to make us unique. We just have to be able to execute and be able to get the 200 seats to have people be interested in this and also be able to rock out and be loud and also be quiet on offense when we have the ball.
Yeah. One thing that you mentioned real quick, Derek Miller said history in the making. That's right. Always making history at Fresno State. This is what I can see. The green V has been in our tradition, so it's not like you're bringing something new. What you're doing is creating history from the fan point of view. You're just bringing the tradition and making it like, hey, we've been here, now we really going to make sense of it. Because when you think about painting the Valley red, you see the green V, a lot of people don't know what it means, right? But we're talking about that relationship. Now you got the fan base that's in the stands. Now you got the old school green V supporters. Now you got the sons and the daughters and the cousins of those supporters coming all together, you know what I mean? And some of them want to be a part of that. I can see you all having a tailgate party and it becoming the biggest tailgate party that you ever seen. And now you see all these green shirts walk in. Psychologically, as a player coming from somewhere else, having the checkerboard end zone, now you got the green V. Now you're talking about you're coming into Bulldogs, whatever it's called now, with the Children's Hospital Stadium. Going into this situation, knowing it's like the Raiders of college football, that's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow right there, you know. I don't know. We're going to bring our co-hosts in and see what we kept them on mute for a while, Justin, because you know how they are. You know how they get. What do y'all think of what we talked about?
We're going to keep this thing moving because I don't like no dead space.
I love it. What do y'all think about that, though, what we talked about? That green V. Do y'all like that idea?
Anything to to bring something back, to the college, whatever it's gonna take, man. Anything to promote, the camaraderie, the fan base, to build the fan base and all that. Hey, go for it. Go for it by any means necessary. And San Diego State, no, I'm a SC fan.
Oh, we don't like them either, Billy.
Oh,
hey, it's all right.
We owned SC for a while before 1 or 2 games.
I don't have any teams in Dago except Lincoln.
Yeah, I love it. Except Lincoln. Yeah, that's what we got to keep that one. What do you think, D. Harv?
I think I had to get dressed for this funeral because the Lakers just got crushed tonight.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
But I think, Justin, you got some great points. So, man, y'all keep pushing that movement, man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We need that tailgate, Justin. We need the tailgate.
So I think we're gonna link up with the quarterback club because they're already established. And,
Thank you. Yes.
That's what we're looking like. We wanna stand shoulder to shoulder with them, but more so in a supporting role. They've been around a long time. There's a lot of respect there. We're not there to do anything but support, and that's it. You know,
Love it.
I think if we grow, they grow, and me and Mike, he's been a blessing, man. It's this whole thing has opened up a lot of great relationships that are just starting, and I'm grateful for that. I do want to put you guys on the spot though. You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. What do you guys think we should do when we do have a blackout? Should we wear those shirts or should we go with the blackout?
Stay traditional. Wear the green.
Oh, green.
Don't change, brother. Wear that green. That's hard. I'm sorry. Any player, if y'all listening, any players all over the nation, they will tell you, wear that green, because what's happening is you're exclusive. Not saying you're different than anyone else. You're exclusive, meaning that's tradition. That V section right there, we want y'all to pay attention to that. We want you to look, you're running a route, you take one quick second, you look at that green, and then somebody smack you across the middle. No, seriously, it's psychologically, right, proven that's what happened in football. That's why they made us move our band from sitting right behind the end zone. I don't know if anyone remember, but our band used to sit right behind the end zone.
Yeah.
That was a thing. People didn't like that. Players will score, and we'll go party with the band, and opposite teams will get mad because our band start to really antagonize them. But anyway, I feel personally that's dope. Keep that green shirt with that V. Get loud. Get crazy. Get those fraternities, sororities. Get the Mecha. Is that still on campus? Like every club that's involved at Fresno State, you should go to what is it called? The row. What is it called? Sorority and fraternity row. You should knock on every door. You should walk down in what we used to call it Doom Hall, because every time we walking down where the water fountain is, Coach Hill will be riding his cart and catching us out of class. But you should go to the quad. You should walk through that quad. You have some music playing. Everybody who's walking in it as a student, hey, we need you here. We're promoting. Like, that's really what Texas does. That's what Texas A&M does. That's what USC does. You know, we have to be able to catch up with the other universities.
And especially, hey, you get a chance to be on Club Roast during lunchtime when it's the busiest time of the day on campus. That'd be huge for us. Be huge for the movement for you guys there, Justin.
Yeah. I look at it like this. I mean, if the bar is to be the best, most feared environment on the West Coast, and we only land to the point where we're the best in our conference, then we did something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I just feel like this too, and I've said it to a number of people, is we have a lot of diehard fans, passionate fans. But it's just not cool to stand up when you're the only one yelling on first down, second down, third down, and fourth down. You can be the most I love this university, and I've spent my whole life not standing up on first down, second down, third down, and fourth down like we want to do. And the reason is because no one does it. You know, you're going to be the only one. You're going to get nasty looks. You're going to get told to sit down. You know, I mean, I remember being probably 10 years old and standing up in my seat, and I refused to sit down. And I would be told, "Excuse me, little boy, can you sit down?" "No, I can't. No, I can't." and enough of it. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be quiet, stay home in your living room. You know, like, you can't give 4 hours to the dogs a week. You know, like, I get it. Like, the students want to go to the game. They want to go with their cute little girlfriends, or, you know, they want to chase girls or whatever else. You got the whole week to do it. Let's give 4 hours to the dogs. Let's give everything you got for 4 hours. And if she ain't willing to do that with you, she ain't the one, brother. Okay? She ain't the one.
Right, yeah.
Let's go.
Wow.
Come on. Why you say the mouth fool?
Well, Justin, we're going to say this. We would love to come to one of the games as a unit and be able to cover the madness before the games and be able to do a show, maybe somewhere around town or even outside Bulldog Stadium and have, all the fans. We have a great media crew, that's with us and wouldn't mind, doing that and helping you all during, this process. And we're in full support of the green movement, the green V movement, and everything that y'all do. So you're welcome. We would love to have you again on the show. You're like our regular. We do it once a quarter, and let's get some more of your crew on here, the supporters too. On maybe I know next month we'll be back on, but let's get some of them on and allow them to also share. And we want to hear, and some of the fans want to hear as well. Thank Derek Miller, a big fan for coming on and always being supportive. And he says it's about generational. It's about creating generational fans. So we believe that too. So without any further ado, Justin, thank you for being on. We'll talk to you shortly, my brother.
Absolutely. Have a great night. Take care, guys.
See ya.
Yes, sir.
Fellas, what a show.
Great show tonight, everybody.
Yeah, it was a lot of different pieces of my brain operating tonight from Preston, talking about the writing. That was huge. And how his processes of writing the books and where he came from. And, and then, we had our next guest who, was awesome, and he was talking about what his struggle was and his journey, going through arena football and, being in college and trying to find that opportunity. And then, ending it like this, it's all inspiring. I don't know, fellas. Like everything that was on the show was all inspiring to me.
And also being the most unique because we went different places tonight. And that's what makes it's life. This is a sports show, but hey, we're always talking about life, and life and sports always interchange. And hey, the more we understand about life, the more we understand about sports, and it makes us better people.
That's right. That's right. I can't wait. I can't wait till the next show because for sure on Monday I have a private interview with one of the best running backs at Fresno. Besides me, I gotta go. One of the best running backs in history, Robbie Rouse, Mighty Mouse. He couldn't be on the show tonight. He couldn't be on the show tonight due to his schedule at Washington State. He's the new Washington State running back coach. But he assured me that we're going to do something on Monday, and then we're going to get back with you fans and viewers, and we're going to air it. And then we're going to have some more surprise guests. But we get all the exclusive guests. We're not ESPN. We're not Fox. But for some odd reason, we get some of the guests that they can't get, and they come on our show. So obviously we're doing something right. So we got to continue to build our viewers. We're on the road to almost being at 100 followers, just starting out. Our next show will be 30 shows, 30 episodes already. That's 30 weeks, fellas.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
So that's going to be a big show. It's going to be a huge show. We're going to have people that we interviewed for the very first episode on this show. It's going to be awesome. NIL, we just signed from the Heritage Elite Training. There were 2 players that were signed NIL deals that is going to be some bread. So these young men are very influential in a lot of other young men's life. We weren't going to say who it is yet, but it's all over social media. We have one that's in junior college, and we have the other one who's at a D2 school. And then I believe we have another D1 NIL offer that's coming. And then we have a couple more NIL players that we're going to be offering. So I believe we're going to hit all divisions. So that's awesome. All of these players are going to have something unique about them, and then they'll also be able to be supported throughout their 4 years of college. So that's the real true NIL, of finding something that these young men and young women can actually use rather than saying they're going to make millions of dollars. There's more to it, right? So, yeah, love this show. Thank you so much to our viewers. Derek Miller, we appreciate you. Hey, man, if you love our show, we love you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Congrats on number from Pass Rush Diary. Congrats on number 30. Much love. Thank you. It's going to be an awesome show. We went over about 4 minutes today, but it's worth it because we're almost at 30. We're almost at episode 30. There's people who fall off with 2 weeks. We're talking 30 weeks straight. Whoa. Yeah. We grinding. We grinding. Anything, fellas, before we get off of this show here?
I hope everybody's bracket will stay safe after next week. We'll talk about a little bit more about March Madness next week. But hey, let's have some fun. Show number 30 next week. Let's have some fun, everybody.
Can't wait, man. Can't wait.
Can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Oh, here we go. Hey, DR, if you don't put your little grandson's jersey back up right now, he found the tiniest. He found the tiniest Florida. Oh no, okay. All right, that's Fullerton. Is that Fullerton or Florida?
That's Florida. That's
Florida. Oh my! Are you a Florida fan?
No. But hey, hey, here's the thing. You can get the hat cheap in Fresno for $7 because for the Gators. So we're good.
Okay, there we go. Right?
Yeah. You got one.
Hey. $7, D Harv. $7.
Yeah, Walmart.
That's money well spent.
Oh, somebody said they sell them at Walgreens too. You can get them at Walgreens for $2.99. Hey, D Harv.
It don't matter where you got it from.
We don't sell those type of arrangements in California. I'm sorry, we don't do that. Now we'll sell Fullerton before we sell the University of Florida.
That's correct.
You know we love you, D Harv. Ain't nothing but love, man.
I know it.
We need some Florida folks to come on this show because we need you to have some backup.
I've been trying, man. It's like, yeah, I guess they feel older than me.
we need to get your nephew on the show. He need to come on episode 30. That's what we need.
I talk to him.
Tell him to get on the line. We can talk some rivalries. We can talk Reilly College versus West Hills. We can talk Fresno City versus Reilly. Whatever he want, he can get on here. Get him pumped up before he gets on here. Hey, big shout out to Coach Berner at West Hills College. He just took over a position. What was that position, Welch?
I think he's like the president of
for the whole
3 CCA for the Northern Division, I believe.
Yeah, that's huge. So big shout out to you. Remember we interviewed Coach Berner. He came on, very humble guy. Talked about West Hills, Kalinga College. Talked about his journey. But now he's I think he will be president next year. And we're talking about the CCCA, I believe it is.
The triple
CA, the collegiate something. I'm not going to butcher the name, but he's responsible for the Northern Division. And we're talking about all these divisions of community colleges, JUCO, being the leader and making sure that, all the rules are being met and all those good things. So it's good to have those type of people, in your corner, because you never know what type of young man that may come through here and they may need a connection. So big shout out. Big shout out to Coach David Gunn. I know he's been really busy, but he's been on our show 2 or 3 times already. Hopefully we'll get him on episode 30 and all of the other university type gentlemen. And you know what? We haven't had no ladies on here in a while. So we need to make sure we get some ladies on episode 30. What do y'all think, viewers? If y'all have anything, we got 1 more minute before we get off, but if you have anything, let us know what you would like to see on episode 30. That's going to be our biggest show yet. We cannot wait for that episode. And what was that?
Tight end lady back.
Which one?
Your tight end from your youth football league.
Oh, Miss Roberson. Yes. Sanfrey Roberson, yes, we'll try to get her on. But I know it's going to be some great people, man. It's probably we may have people cry on the next show, man, because they've had some great stories. That actually is going to be our 2-hour show, folks, and it's going to be a longer show only because we have to fit all of our guests because we promised that we'll bring them back on. So D. Harv will be taking his nap early in the day. Him and Billy. They will make sure that they, have some coffee or some tea, and late nights they'll be able to get through it. Big shout out to everybody who's been supporting us. Fresno State, big shout out to them for allowing us to, be able to share and promote. San Diego State, we talk like all the universities that's connected to all of us that we're representing with a lot of our players that we deal with that's connected to these universities and colleges and all the coaches as well. So we're going to be signing out, and we will see you guys in another week on Thursday.
That's right.
Peace out.
See ya.